Hey guys, here we are. Another Monday Live. A lot of things to discuss. We're getting closer to Christmas with the holidays, and it looks like everything's moving along pretty good.
Did you have a busy weekend?
I did. I worked all weekend. A lot of things, a lot of calls, stuff like that. But it was good.
Another Monday Live. And for those of you that may or may not have tuned in, we have a new table in the back featuring Karen on it. You can go to Our Thing and Patreon. It's up live on those. We will be releasing it later on this evening on YouTube tonight, so stay tuned for that. I want to encourage everybody to please head to the merch shop. We are only going to be taking orders for another week and then nothing until after the new year. So if you guys want to get your last minute Christmas gifts, now would be the time. You ready for some questions?
I'm ready.
Okie dokie. So I have Nick Naisho. He said, Sammy, I liked your story about Joe Bonanno last week. It's incredible. He knew where you were and reached out. My question is, why not be friends and do some legitimate business together once you told him you weren't taking over Arizona?
Well, first of all, I was a convicted felon, so I'm really not allowed to, do things with him. When he sent me a message, that's a little bit different. But going partners with him and doing something with him, I don't think the government would be happy with that. They weren't even happy with the call, that I was going to meet with him. But we never met.
Okay, my next question is from Redman. Redman wants to know, Sammy, do you know anything about why John Gotti's barber, Vito Scaglione, was killed? It seemed to be a really big story in '87.
His barber was killed?
Yeah.
He probably gave him a bad haircut. I don't know. I don't know why his barber got killed.
He also wants to know if that is the infamous alley boy on your left.
Yes, that's my Bombada alley boy.
He said if it is, he does have the face of a ball breaker.
Yeah, he was the best. His facial expressions and stuff. This guy was a heavyweight lawyer. This guy was representing us at the case. We're coming out of the court. Look at my hair. I had like a beetle haircut. I had a ton of hair.
Okay, in your super chat, Eugene Kimson says, was Robert DiBernardo a made man or an associate?
No, he was not only a made man, he was a captain when he died. We made him a captain after the Castellano hit.
He has another question. I want him to elaborate what his second question means. So, Eugene, please elaborate what you mean on your second super chat so that I can ask it for you. Vincenzo says, hi, Sammy. Sending my love to you and your familia over this Christmas period. Love what you do and how consistent you are. Could I have a shout out? His name is Vincenzo.
Vincenzo, having a shout out.
And I want to say, I think he has to be out in Europe because the denomination is different. It's not dollars. So
Right.
Jordan Armstrong in your super chat says, hey, Sammy, after you and Jerry Pappa were both made in different families, did you ever bump into each other on the streets and was there tension?
No, after we were made, we didn't bump into each other. He got killed right away. He was made already, so was I. And Louis Melito gave me a call, and he said, Sammy, did you hear what happened? I said, what? He said, your friend Pappa got taken out. He was hit in a restaurant on 14th Avenue and 64th Street. And he got, taken out for a lot of different reasons. He was doing work off the record. He was drug dealing. He was doing a lot of things. So he was taken out. But I never met him after we got made.
Joseph Marshall wants to know, what are some nice things Paul did for you?
Well, Paul did a lot of nice things, really. I mean, he loved the construction industry. He had a special interest in that, which gave him a special interest in me. He opened up, he made a Tato had an appointment with Chin Gigante's brother, Mario Gigante. They ran the Carpenters Union, sent them a message, and I never had trouble with the Carpenters Union again. That was a big plus for me because I was in the drywall business. So, and it opened up a lot of doors for me. So Paul did some nice things.
I have Larry, the creator, says, Sammy, Merry Christmas. Can you give a shout out to Shane and to Toronto, Ontario? Have you ever been to Toronto in Canada?
No, I've never been there. Hello, Shane. But no, I've never been to Toronto.
Jared wants to know if you can tell him a story about you and Bobby Cabert.
Me and Bobby Cabert. You know, I got so many stories with him. That's how I got indicted by the Iceman. Years later, I did a piece of work with him in I forgot the neighborhood, but I did a lot of things with Bobby Cabert. I wasn't a big fan of his, but I knew him well.
Not a question, but a comment from Hot Boy Mus. I just got my signed Christmas card coming in, and I'm super excited to frame it and put it in my man cave. Thank you, Sammy.
Enjoy it.
That'll look beautiful. You had a couple behind you, too.
Yeah.
Next question. Is Detroit's Mafia still alive and well, or has it quieted down? This is from TikTok.
I really don't know. They weren't a big family to begin with. They got smaller and smaller. I left the Mafia a long time ago, so I have no idea if they even exist anymore. And if so, they're probably very small and very quiet.
Larry Bird on Instagram. Sammy, do you think that Gigante's kids still wield the power in the Genovese family?
No. He didn't bring his kids into the life. Well, he had a daughter and a son. He didn't bring them into the life. And I think when he passed away, they don't have any power in there anymore.
Santiago on Instagram would like to know, what is your opinion on Ally? I personally think he was a wannabe.
Not too far off, but I don't know. I don't talk with him much. I don't really dislike him, but he talks stories, I agree with you, that it's really hard for me to believe. Saying that he was Gotti's right-hand man and he killed for him and did all these things. I really doubt that. I never even heard his name at that point, and I was around Gotti every single day. Who he was close with is John Jr., and Gotti didn't like John Jr.'s friends. So he was one of his friends. He says he slept at his house like it's a big deal. I don't know why that's a big deal, but, you know, he probably came in with John Jr., and, you know, I know my son came in with his friends and the people slept over. That doesn't mean anything. It's just, you know, it's my son's friend and they're sleeping over. My daughter's friends did that too. But that doesn't make you something special that you slept there, you know? So I don't know. He says a lot of things I don't understand, and I've never really heard of him before. When I got out of prison, he did give me something, a few bucks, getting out of prison. That's when I really met him. And now he's saying I owed him. I took a loan. It wasn't a loan. He gave me a little something. So did a bunch of guys when I got out of prison. So I don't know. When he says things, some things I'm a little, I don't know, I killed 30 guys, 40 guys, he batted 100 guys. I don't know.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. If that's his story, that's good.
Next question from Larry Bird on Instagram again. He would like to know, did you ever wrestle?
A couple of times on a date, I wrestled. Some girl flung me over the bed, but stuff like that, I don't know. What do you mean by professional wrestling, like a wrestler? No, yeah, all right, I was boxing. No, I never wrestled. You know, in a street fight, and I never got down rolling around on the floor. In a street fight, that happens, but no, I never professionally wrestled.
Trey Sparks on TikTok would like to know, could I please get a shout out to my wife, Brittany? She loves the bull.
Hey, Brittany. I had a girl.
Stephen Tate on TikTok would like to know, do you think the Russians had anything to do with Jimmy coming up gone?
Oh, Jimmy Hoffa? No, absolutely not. I know all about that Hoffa thing, so no. The Russians had nothing to do with that. And I was pretty friendly with some heavyweight Russians.
Real Maximus on TikTok says, my favorite match was Sammy the Bull versus Andre the Giant in WrestleMania 3.
I don't think I'm as big as his toe. I mean, I don't even know if he's alive anymore, Andre the Giant. He's not. I'd wrestle him now.
So many different things on here. Let me pull another question real quick. From 69GTX, was the Iceman Richard a legit hitman? And if not, what was the biggest giveaway?
No, he wasn't a legit hitman. He got in touch with the government and wanted to cooperate, and he did. That's how I got arrested for a cold case of killing a cop. It was him. This guy put me in that murder, which I wasn't involved in. But when the government went down and met with him, he said he killed 200 people. He was a serial killer. He was full of shit. He killed about 4 or 5 different people. I don't see him as a mafia hitman. He said he was under Roy DeMeo. Roy DeMeo didn't need this guy. I doubt. He might have met Roy. He was lying about that. He talked about the hit on Roy DeMeo, and he said he did it. So when they asked him, they said, well, he was shot in the head. It's public knowledge. He said yes. You put him in the trunk of a car. He was found in the trunk of a car. He said yes. They told him, and why'd you put that thing on his body? He couldn't answer the question because that wasn't in the papers. It wasn't in the news. It was a chandelier. Whoever killed him, I know killed him, but they took this thing out of the trunk of the car, probably a stolen car. It was a chandelier. Took it out. When they killed him and they threw him in the trunk, they probably just threw the chandelier back in the trunk with him, and it was on top of him. So he couldn't answer those questions. He couldn't answer a lot of questions. He talked about the 4 or 5 people that he killed, but that was the end of it. He couldn't even have 10 names. So all that, he killed 200 people. He was full of shit.
Sammy, you got a couple people on TikTok thinking that this is pre-recorded. Do you want to tell them that it's not?
No, it's not pre-recorded. Yeah, I'm waving. So it's not pre-recorded. You know, when you get older, you look like a statue. And it looks pre-recorded probably.
Rocco on TikTok would like to know, Sammy, have you ever been to Connecticut, and were you ever connected to any mobsters from Connecticut?
I've been to Connecticut a few times. No, I wasn't connected with anybody in Connecticut.
Bradford Gordon wants to know, did you ever hang out in Astoria Park, Queens?
No, I didn't hang out there. I went there once or twice. Some guy had a club out there, Astoria Park, but I never hung out there. I mean, I'm a Bensonhurst, Brooklyn type of guy. We moved to Staten Island, me, my wife, and kids. But even there, I didn't stay in Staten Island. I came into Brooklyn, Bensonhurst, Brooklyn all the time.
Stay Coolin says, Sammy, who was somebody other than Roy and Jerry P that you definitely didn't trust but had to deal with through Cosa Nostra?
I mean, there's a lot of guys like that are not really too trustworthy, you know. But Roy DeMeo was a type of guy, I had no fear of him, but you never know. He went so far off the deep end and became a serial killer. You never know. When you walk into his club, and I went there a couple of times with messages, maybe I shook somebody's hand before I got to him, and he would resent that, and he'd want to kill you for that. So a guy like that, you got to be very careful with. I wasn't afraid of him. It's just that you know you're dealing with a fucking lunatic, and you never know what's going to happen. You got to watch your P's and Q's. You know, you can't even kid with him because you don't know how he's going to take it. But there's a lot of guys who were devious, not like him. I mean, Gaspipe was another psychopath, but you could talk with him, reason with him. I could anyway. I grew up in the same neighborhood in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn with him. He stood in the 19th hole, was on 86th Street, and I went there on occasion. So I saw him and I knew him well. A little bit of a psychopath, but nothing. He was a good earner, very smart earner. So I never had a problem with that.
Okay, I have Eugene Kimson in your super chat again. He wants to know if you ever heard of Michael Francis or Joey Merlino before YouTube.
Before when?
YouTube.
No.
Before they
No.
started getting on podcasts.
No, I didn't. I didn't know. I might have heard of Michael Franchise, but I didn't know him on the street, and I certainly didn't know Joey Molino. I knew of his father because he was the underboss for a short amount of time. I knew some of his family, and I was involved in a lot of things that happened in Philadelphia, but I never met him. No.
I have Car Guy Mike in your super chat. No question, generous envelope, just a comment. God bless and Merry Christmas. Here's an envelope for you, boss.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
I have in your super chat, I think it's Fino Air. What is your ideal Christmas gift this year?
A gift to me?
I guess. Maybe a gift to you, maybe a gift to someone
I don't
else.
know. All the gifts to me are personal when they become like that. And I really do appreciate it because it's coming from somebody special and it's coming from their heart. So whatever it is, a shirt, a sweater, whatever it is, I appreciate it. Even the envelopes when you're sending me something here, this is for you. To me, those things are special. This chain I wear, it's a metal. It's St. Michael, the protector, was given to me. It's not an expensive one, but I wear it all the time because it's a gift. It's special. Those things are special to me because it's coming from somebody. It may be not expensive. Maybe they don't have a lot of money, or they're not trying to impress me with something. But they're all special to me.
Okay, I have Anubis wants to know, Sammy, when he was an associate, Charlie Caniglia was arrested in a diner by court officer Andrew Gelb when Gelb spotted a gun on Charlie. Gelb was shot to death in his car. Was it sanctioned?
Well, I don't know who killed him. I mean, I know Charlie Kinnick very well. I was very friendly with him. He's a real good guy, stand-up guy. He did a ton of years. He got out not too long ago. And I don't know about this cop and who killed him. So I don't know if it's sanctioned, not sanctioned. I don't even know who did it. I hope you're not assuming that Charlie Kinnick did it because he got arrested by this cop. I don't think that was what happened. But I don't know.
I have Kenwood Drive wants to know, Sammy, where were you during the 1977 New York blackout?
1977 blackout. I remember it. I don't remember where I was. I was in Brooklyn. And I know there was a major, major blackout. But I don't remember where I was.
I have Provost in your super chat wants to know, hey, Sam, I recently read a book about the Jersey family. It's stated by sources that Jersey captain Anthony Rotundo would always no-show when it came to doing a piece of work. If that's true, how did he not get broken down?
Anthony Rotundo. That's Jimmy Rotundo. He was the underboss. That's his son, Anthony. I knew him. I didn't know him well. I never heard anything like that he was a no-show when work came down. I know he was involved in a piece of work. What his position was and what he did in that work, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I know he was there for that piece of work I'm talking about. And it doesn't matter who pulls the trigger, who's doing what. Don't everybody, we don't jump on board and everybody shoots the guy. I didn't do that either. A lot of times it's the planning you're involved in. It's a lot of things you're involved in. There's some of my murders that I'm accredited with is that I wasn't even there, but I was involved. I found out about one guy and he did a piece of work and I came down later. I didn't even know it wasn't sanctioned actually. And I came down and I asked questions. Did he clean up? And because when he did it, he was drunk. Stymie did it. And I helped clean up, got rid of the car, made sure that he wouldn't get arrested. Just doing something like that, you're part of the murder. So some of my murders is not that I did them, physically did them by myself. And when you have a team, everybody has a function. It's just like this. Amin is on one end doing something, looking at the screen, and Sterling is over there looking at what's on TikTok, questions and stuff like that. It's a team. So who's doing this? Who could get credit for it? And who could, we're all part of it. Just because I'm talking, I'm not just the only person. They're talking, they're watching things, they're setting up cameras and stuff like that. It's the same thing with murders. Any part, you could be driving the getaway car, you could be driving, and a lot of times it's not maybe what you want to do, it's what you're told to do. A lot of times I was a planner in the murders. So I would pick somebody who's going to drive a getaway car, who's going to drive a crash car, who was going to be a backup shooter. There was 4 backup shooters. They didn't all shoot, but they're backup shooters. I was even a backup shooter. I made myself a backup shooter. I was on in the Castellano hit. I was on the walkie-talkie giving orders to all them guys. Now, all those guys who were there, they're all involved in the Castellano hit. It doesn't matter who pulled the trigger, who gave the order, who's driving the getaway car, who's a backup shooter. You're all on that murder. You're all involved in that murder. And you can go to prison for life, no matter what part you played in that murder. So it really don't matter. It's just a matter of who's planning it, who wants somebody in a different spot doing something different. I was generally a good planner. So I seem to be involved in most of them that I'm involved in on the planning end of it. And I'm there on the street with a gun, but I'm not necessarily the shooter. Somebody else is doing the shooting. It doesn't matter who shoots. When the guy is capable of shooting. I mean, we'll go back to Eli. It said, well, I only shot 1 or 2 guys or 3 guys. Yeah, that wasn't my job to shoot the guy. I mean, when it's don't underestimate that a guy who wasn't the shooter, that he's not a shooter. He could shoot just as well, especially a backup shooter. We know if there's a problem, he's going to shoot. So that we're all the same when it comes to that. It's just what position you're playing in that hit. But if you're on that hit, you got to remember, he's got a gun, he's on the street. It's not like he's afraid. He's part of the thing.
I have Ilias in your chat asking, did you ever meet and talk to Don Carlo Gambino, and do you have a personal story about him and you, or maybe about his son, Tommy Gambino?
I met Carlo Gambino when I came from the Colombo family to the Gambino family. Tato, I was with Tato under him. He was a powerful captain. He was very close with Carl. And he got me in the car and he says, come on, we're going to go see Carl. We went up. He had an apartment. He had lived in Long Island. He had a beautiful home in Long Island. He had an apartment on Ocean Parkway in Brooklyn. And I went to that apartment. And I was a little nervous to meet him. They had talked for me, and now I'm with that family. And when I opened the door and we walked in, he was sitting there, for about 4 or 5 guys with him. And he says, is this Sammy the Bull? And Tato said, yes, it is. He says, hey, Sammy, welcome aboard in our family. I hear a lot of good things about you. And you want a cup of black coffee, espresso? And I said, yeah, of course, I would love that. I thought one of the bodyguards or one of the guys who were there would go get it. He got up himself, made it. He said, you want Zambuca or anisette? I said, probably anisette. He gave me, put a teaspoon in there. And he came over to give it to me, and he had an orange peel. And he said, this is what you do. You rub it around the edge of the thing. He rubbed it around, threw it in, and it'll taste delicious. It was like dealing with my grandfather. He was very gentle, kind, got up. I never thought he'd get up and make coffee for me like that. It gave such a good impression. This is the father of the family that I'm in now. It was so beautiful. And he was known for that. He was a kind man. I gave orders, but he was dangerous to an extent. But he wasn't, and Tato taught me some good things. We use violence, but we use violence as a last resort. So they had a different mentality than the Colombo family. It was about business. It was about chilling a little bit and, don't throw your weight around. And he was that type of guy. His son, Tommy Gambino, I met him. He was in the clothing business. They delivered clothes to all the manufacturers. He had one of the biggest companies. I went there one time to meet him, and there was a model. They were fixing her dress, and he was on his knees pinning the thing. He was a captain already, I think. But, I expected him to react that we came there, I came there. And he just, they said, he'll be busy for a few minutes. Just relax. He'll be with you in a few minutes. And he was different. He was different than his father. I'll tell you another story, that the father was very low-key, had an old car he would drive around. Tommy Gambino and them, they got a new car for him, a brand new Cadillac. They got rid of the old car. And he drove it a few times. He called his son back. He says, get rid of this car. Get me my car back, or get me an old car. They said, why? It's a beautiful car. He said, yes, it is. But everybody, everywhere I go, they look at the car and they're looking at me. I'm not a show-off. We're under the radar. I don't want to be looked at because of a car. Get rid of the car. And they got rid of the car, and he went back to having an old car, again, about car, nothing to try to impress you. The total opposite of John Gotti. Total opposite. Kind man, generous. Everybody was happy under him. When he died, there was an army of people at his funeral. Now, Tato didn't want me or his son to go there because there was going to be a lot of press, a lot of cops. And I was already, getting made. So I didn't go, but I saw it on the videos and stuff like that. But Carlo Gambino was a sweetheart of a man. Even guys respected him on all levels. They always went for him for guidance because of his wisdom, and he wasn't vicious in any way. If he could think of a way out of things, or not that he was worried about doing anything, he'll give you a hit, to do. But he wasn't bloodthirsty. And that was good. It made you feel comfortable. You had to break the rules for him to order a hit on you. And that's good when you're working and you're going to adhere to the rules. So I liked him a lot. And I didn't know him personally. I didn't hang out with him, play cards with him or stuff like that. But I liked him. I had a tremendous respect for him already.
Dave in Pittsburgh wants to know, Sammy, who was one of the hardest persons to testify against because you really like them as a person?
Mostly all of them. I really didn't like testifying against anybody. And people think, I even, John Gotti, who betrayed me, and that's what caused the whole thing to happen. I didn't hate him either. When I looked at him in court, they said we stared at each other. I guess we did stare at each other a little bit, but I didn't hate him. And I didn't really, wasn't happy about testifying. This is going to sound strange. I would wish when I was in court, I looked at him and I said to myself, I wish we weren't in this court. I wish I didn't cooperate. I wish you weren't sitting here. And I wish we were on the streets. I could blow your fucking head off for what you did. And you put me on this fucking stand. I didn't like it at all. I mean, I don't like sending people to prison. Something come up just recently about a woman who betrayed me a little bit and really bad-mouthing the shit out of me doing certain things. And a lawyer told me, Sammy, she's breaking the law by saying certain things that are lies. We can go to the police, we could make it a complaint and this and that and the other thing. Now, you would think to fight back, I would do that. But even today, I said, no, I'm not going to do something like that. I don't want to send nobody to prison. I had a cooperation deal that I would cooperate for 2 years. I wouldn't cooperate against anybody in my family. I wouldn't cooperate against anybody in my crew. And I told them, I can't. I ordered them to go on pieces of work and they did it. I can't sit in court and put them away. And there was a woman who helped rig a trial. She was a legitimate woman. She didn't want to do anything, illegal. I got in touch with her father. Her father told her, listen, vote not guilty. And I'm going to give you stories to say to the other jurors, so maybe the people could beat the case. And she reluctantly did it. Now, I gave her, she wouldn't even take money. So I told the government about this when I cooperated, and I said, I won't cooperate against her. She's not an illegitimate person. She didn't even want to do it. Then I got $10,000. I gave it to the father, and he says, she won't take the money. I said, good. You take it. You take it and give it to her. She's got kids? Yeah, she's got kids. They're your grandchildren. Make the money like it came from you, not from me. So I can't testify against her. I won't. So that was another person I wouldn't testify. And they gave me a 2-year deal. We can't make that kind of a deal. The deal we'll make you is that who we indict, you have to testify. But we won't indict any of those people until after 2 years. Then you're on your own. You could testify or you don't have to. And I never testified against any of them. My crew, my family, that woman. Now, if she's still alive, she'll hear this. She'll know what happened. And I won't even give up her name. I don't even remember her name no more. But I wouldn't give the government her name.